You work so hard. You show up every day. You do what's expected of you. But deep down, you know the truth. One paycheck shouldn't decide how your life turns out. But what if your evenings meant progress? What if your weekends built freedom? What if your laptop became more than just a screen? This isn't about quitting your job. It's about giving yourself options. While others scroll, you start building. Quietly, consistently, and on your own terms. No pressure, no guessing. Just a clear system you can run after work, before work, or whenever life gives you a turn. That's what Goldmine on hustlesafrica.com is for.
Tuesday. Haikuzo. Makasi ni watafute uongozi pamoja wasitafute.
Kweli una maana gani? Una maana wewe. Ni binadamu ya mavi ya kuku.
Mashamba yetu harambe.
Nguruwe kujikanga na mafuta yake. Na Afrika itakwisha.
Wadhani ya gosho. Ngai no mwega. Naende shode.
Wakati hiyo ilikuwa ukisema ngwe ndani. Ngwe.
Tulikuwa tumevurugana sawa na hawa rafiki zetu wa NASA hawa, kina Weta, kina Muda na kina Kalonzo. Sasa mimi nimekaa pale Senate nauliza Khalwale, umwana wewe kanyo lilendebe, tunaweza enda tumsalimie tumwambie congratulations. Nauliza huyu Weta nikienda peke yangu kumwambia congratulations hata anaweza nifukuza ama nimwagie chai. So wewe kama mzee Khalwale, si unipeleke tuende kwa ofisi ya Weta, na siendi kufanya mambo ingine, naenda kumwambia congratulations peke yake alafu tutoke. Tukaenda na Khalwale akanipeleka kama mzee. Sasa Weta vile alituona kwanza ameniona nimeingia hapo, lazima nionyeshe yeye ndio mdosi, si ndio? Ako tu hapo, nini hii Sifuna anatafuta nini hapa? Khalwale ndio mzee alikuwa ananizungumzia kwa mzee mwenzake. Anamwambia huyu kijana hata hana ubaya. Tumekuja tu hapa tuseme congratulations kwa sababu mmoja wetu akipata sisi wote tumepata. Mnanielewa nyinyi? Bwana Weta alifungua faili yangu. Khalwale izia. Weta alifungua faili yangu. Weta ako na roho mbaya. Kila matusi umeshawahi kumtusi. Aliandika chini anakumbuka mpaka tarehe. Akaanza, siku ile Sifuna tulikuwa sijui wapi, ulisema hii, ukasema nikasema umwami, hata hiyo sio hiyo imenileta hapa. Nina bahati sana Khalwale alikuwa hapo, hiyo mkutano ingeharibika haki ya Mungu, because jamaa alinisomea mashtaka mpaka nikasikia mimi mwenyewe tu nijipee hukumu, nijifunge tu nikienda nikitokanga. So Khalwale huyu mlikuwa mnatuona yeye akiwa anatetea serikali, tunaenda na yeye Citizen TV asubuhi, yeye anaenda kutetea William Ruto, mimi naenda kutetea watu yetu ya ODM na upinzani. Lakini uzuri ya huyu Khalwale hawezi kutetea kitu ambaye yeye mwenyewe anajua ni mbaya. Huyu ilifika mahali tukaanza kukubaliana na Khalwale pole tu. Naambia Khalwale, watu wangu wa Nairobi wanasema hii kitu inaitwa SHA haifanyi, na Kakamega wanasemaje? Anasema Sifuna kuna shida mahali. Vile alianza kuongea tu pole, na alikuwa anasema kwa niaba yenu nyinyi wenyewe, kwa sababu Khalwale huyu ni mtu akichukua msimamo, hajali ni nini itamfanyikia, yeye atasema ukweli wake na ukweli wa wananchi wa Kakamega. Huyu Khalwale ameumizwa sana kwa sababu ya kutetea nyinyi. A big part of what the success that we have achieved ni kwa sababu watu wanatudharau. Sijui kama mnanielewa. Hawa jamaa wanakaanga wanaangalia hawa vijana, wasema hawa ni watoto kwa siasa, hawajui ile kitu wanafanya. Yaani kwa akili yako tu unakaa tu na unafikiria Sifuna hana chama. Hata kama mmetudharau, hii siasa tumefunzwa na profesa wa siasa mwenyewe, Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Hii fujo mnaona hii ati wanakazia registrar kutupatia sisi brand yetu, kwa sababu ni sisi tumejenga hii kitu inaitwa Linda Mwananchi. Lakini nataka niwaulize ndugu yangu, kwa kimombo wanasema a rose by any other name.
All right, hello there, people of the internet. My name is Luhya, and this is Political Headache coming to you at 7:30 in the evening from the city of glasses. I have Mr. Mohammed. Mohammed is joining me here today, and I have Mr. Nyanduga. Nyanduga is here. I have got Mr. Meshak. Mr. Meshak, the last time you annoyed so many people, you like really annoyed them. Mulamba, how are you doing? Unakula njugu? Ya kutoka huko Western. Where is your nini? Bado inatengenezwa. Okay, let me start with Mohammed. Mohammed, how are you doing? How has the week been? By the way, I did not ask you what you thought about Homa Bay and whatever happened there. And I was wondering, now that we want to go to Garissa, is it Garissa or Wajir where you want to take me?
Both of them.
Both of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you so much, Jagero, for this golden opportunity. And what I can say about the state of the nation is that first we need to admit that we are entering in a new political era.
Okay.
And what do I mean? We are entering into a new political era whereby we don't have the enigma himself, Raila Amolo Odinga.
Okay.
And in the Kenya's political ecosystem, Raila Odinga shaped how Kenya's politics had to move forward.
Okay.
And since then, we are entering into a new political era. People are now fighting for that political kingship, whereby now the narrative is who controls this region, who controls this political network, who can form a coalition, who can mobilize the youth, and who can form the narrative.
Okay.
That now make the political temperature to rise, and that does not make it political violence not to be inevitable. And that is now what we can term that Kenya is entering into a pre-electoral conflict phase that need to be addressed.
Okay.
One thing that people need to understand, when Abraham Lincoln was defining democracy, he defined that democracy is government of the people, for the people, by the people. And in that definition, he actually vested powers in 3 key democratic governance.
Okay.
That is now the government, the state and the government, the society and the individual. We need to understand the elected people and or let's say the government officers, they don't even compose half of the Kenya's political population. Then that means the power is in the people. Okay? But you realize that the moment someone is elected, that is now when his powers or the power goes from the people to that individual, which is actually a very bad narrative. So all I can say is we are entering into a pre-electoral conflict phase that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
And for it to be addressed, it has to be collective. It has to come from the government. It has to come from the people as well as the individual.
You as an international mediator, how are we supposed to employ mediation in as far as our politics concerned right now? Because if you look at what was happening in Migori, a lot of people are saying that perhaps Orengo, who is a Luo coming from Luoland, Babu Wino, who is a Luo coming from Luoland, and Nyasuna Gladys Wanga, who is coming from Luoland, and Kaluma, who is coming from Luoland, perhaps should sit down and some sort of mediation should happen between those warring factions. What do you think about that?
Allow me to dissect that one at a trichotomous approach. The very first one is, Jagero, in such context, mediation cannot apply. But the best thing that can apply such a scenario is dialogue. What do I mean by dialogue? What I mean is both actors to come on a table, discuss the issues that are in dispute, and come up with an amicable solution. And in this context, now we ask ourselves a question: which is the body that is constitutionally mandated to convene a national dialogue? NCIC, that is the National Integration, Cohesion and Commission. Now the question we ask, do they have the powers? Have they earned public trust? Do the public have confidence in it? No. Now that actually brings a discrepancy between that institution that is constitutionally mandated to undertake the dialogue. On the other end, we have now political actors that you have talked about, the likes of Orengo and all that. What they are doing is political positioning. They are positioning themselves to see if they can replace Raila Amolo Odinga, not knowing that everybody has his own strength, weaknesses and opportunities. For Raila to be where he was, he actually struggled for it. It took him time, energy and everything. What I can say to answer your question is, there is need for Kenya to convene a national dialogue. And that dialogue has to come from NCIC. But the problem that does exist is a structural problem, which is NCIC is claiming that they don't have resources. But the question that I usually ask myself is, let us put resources aside. How many Kenyans know NCIC? Jagero, do you know NCIC to start with?
I hear about them.
You hear them, but you don't know, right? They have to earn trust from the public. They have to go to the grassroots.
What are they supposed to use to do with money?
That's now the question. What are you doing with the money? They are talking about money, but they have not actually earned public trust. They have not earned public confidence. They have to actually tell the grassroots that this NCIC, the mandate is supposed to do so and so. So what I can say is there is need for Kenya to convene a national dialogue that has to bring all the political actors. Point number 3. Jagero, we need to understand that in Kenya there is a kind of phenomena that does exist, which is political handshake is profiled to be political betrayal. Orengo today would love to sit with Ruto and have a handshake, but he cannot. Why? The moment he does that, he's going to lose a lot of followers or supporters, not knowing that political handshake does not constitute political betrayal in a democratic country. Because you can have a handshake and you can have a mutual understanding. In that, we can have the following working collaboration or working framework. But he cannot. Why? The moment he does that, he's going to lose followers. The moment he sits with Gladys Wanga, the moment he sits with Oburu, he is going to lose a lot of supporters, of which to me that is very, very wrong. Politics is all about interest. It's driven by interest. The moment the person you are supporting has decided that he is going to work with the government, then you as the followers, you must have demand in that working relationship or working formula. So to answer your question, it is impossible for Orengo to do such. Why? Because political handshake is defined as political betrayal. That's why the Gen Zs, they told Raila to have betrayed them, but in real sense, he has assisted them. That is something that they don't acknowledge. They don't recognize.
And Nduga is shaking his head.
He's shaking because maybe he is familiar to the political ecosystem and he doesn't have a good history. You know, history is very important. Okay? If you have a good history of this country, then you can't term Raila Odinga to be a betrayer, rather than him saving this nation from so many things that could have put us in a wrong state.
Because Jandoka is the one who is basically shaking his head the most. I think you want to push back on what he's saying, but even after you push back, I want to ask you this question. What do you think about? By the way, I don't know whether you were here when we were discussing Obey. Have you ever been here?
Yes.
You've been here once. Okay. So what do you think about what he's saying? Mediation. Why do you think that? The people should sit down, because today I was sitting down with a lawyer and he was telling me that what the Luhya people have done to us we will remember for a long time. The beating and the near rape of our women we will never forget. So, and then today you saw Sifuna coming out and saying that I have toured Luhya Nyanza. I think it's a beautiful place. We will build that road that Kasongo has not built, and so on and so forth. And so he was striking a very reconciliatory tone, so to speak. Do you think that there should be a reconciliation between the warring factions? Let's say Babu Win, Orengo, Nyasona Wanga, Abizwena. What happens? Should the cohesion team bring them to the table and tell, look, let's take tea and say that this is our country, we should not let it go to the dogs? Do you think that's what should happen?
Wonderful. So even before I speak, Jakero, majority of those who are watching us are complaining about the sound.
Are they?
Yes, they're complaining about the sound. They cannot hear as well. So
this is the problem with this guy, is that when people on the internet are complaining about sound, and I insist. Are they deaf? They are not deaf, are they? Yeah, but they are complaining.
So Jagero, I think.
Saying one time.
Yeah.
Oh. So Jagero, even before I answer your question, I think the first question you asked my brother was how was the week? And I'll start by saying I was so much disappointed because this is the week where we are coming to terms with whatever happened in Homa Bay.
Yeah.
How the warring factions caused anarchy to the residents of Homa Bay. And the impact that was felt by the people of Homa Bay will remain in history.
Okay.
For the first time, we are seeing a situation whereby the major roads leading into one of the progressive counties like Homa Bay are being blocked due to political reasons. But that notwithstanding, I'll go directly to the questions. Before I respond to my brother, you have asked a very good question on mediation.
Okay.
Whether NCIC or various reconciliation committees should sit down with the two warring factors or sections, at least so that we can have a peaceful coexistence in Nyanza. And I'll say that Nyanza politics is of a plebiscite democracy.
What democracy?
Not a deliberative democracy.
What
I'll
is
explain.
That? Say that again. Those words seem to
A plebiscite democracy.
Plebiscite.
A plebiscite democracy.
Okay.
It's a situation whereby we make decisions based on popular opinions of elected leaders.
Okay.
Individuals like Raila, in fact, they dominated Nyanza politics because of the plebiscite nature of Nyanza political system. When you have a look at Raila used to come and pick for us some of the leaders, endorse them, carry out fake nomination for some of them, and at the end of the day, there was a narrative that we must elect those who are very close to Raila, so that if Raila ascends into presidency, then he'll have a foot soldier to fight for him from the top. I'll have to say that this is slowly turning back, because let me answer Kenyans who are even here in the comment section and have been so on speaking in social media and everything. Luos are not fighting against each other. This is just a narrative which is being sponsored to pigeonhole Luo Nyanza as a chaotic society. But in the real sense, majority of the Luo people have made a solemn vow and a decision that there must be a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift in the sense that they are tired of legacy politicians and that they are making a way for a new political dispensation. So I saw some people saying, Odhiambo is fighting Ochieng for Kipchirchir to be happy. That is not true. There is nothing like that. The fact is, majority of the Luo people...
Odhiambo is fighting Ochieng so that Kipchirchir can be happy.
Yeah, Kipchirchir can be happy. I want to say that... So, in other words, they were saying, because we have a Kalenjin as a president, so he's dividing Luo Nyanza intentionally, so that you can be happy when the Luo Nyanza, which has been Baba support base, is now divided into two. But I'll have to say that more than 70% of Luo Nyanza people are behind the slogan one term. Not just the slogan, but it's because they believe that there comes a time when the country is bigger than oneself. A time like this, many Kenyans have made a decision, just like the people of Nyanza, that we need a better governance structure for our country. But now when it comes to NCIC sitting down with the two political affiliation to bring peace, I don't think that is necessary. When you have a look at how somebody like Moses Wetangula rose in Western politics, it is not just something which took place or which occurred by mistake. It was Musikari Kombo having a conflict with the then Dr. Mukisa Kitui, and that is how Moses Wetangula passed through it.
Okay.
Because the two factors, again, we had two political leaders with various or varying political opinions, and Moses Wetangula took the advantage of that. Today in Nyanza, there is this rhetoric that it's Babu versus either Raymond or Babu versus Wanga. I'll have to say this also. If Babu and Wanga doesn't work smart, another politician can come through and also outsmart them. But NCIC cannot. In fact, it is not meritorious to sit down with the two political affiliations to bring peace, because I don't believe NCIC is independent in the first place. All these institutions in the constitutions where we talk about independence institutions, including IBC, I don't believe they're independent, Jagero. If NCIC was independent, then even today, We have very many leaders who should not even be anywhere near power. In 2021, for your information, the then senator of Meru, Mithika Linturi, was summoned by the NCIC after making some of the remarks in Geshu.
Okay.
Now, ask yourself, if in 2021 they summoned Mithika Linturi, then Ruto becomes president in 2022, the same Mithika Linturi was appointed to the cabinet. Today we have Aden Duale, who the other day talked about hyenas and everything. I've never seen Aden Duale being summoned seriously, leave alone the side shows and the political gimmicks, being summoned seriously by the NCIC to go explain everything and, if possible, be even arrested. When you see NCIC summoning Peter Kaluma and Rigathi Gachagua, Peter Kaluma is just being summoned for sideshow event. But in the real sense, the target is Rigathi Gachagua. We know how they play these games. On this side, my brother talked about handshake, that Raila never betrayed Gen Z. I want to respond to that. If you truly understand what took us to the street at that time, then we'll probably say the greatest barrier which made us not to achieve whatever we were supposed to achieve at that time was one Raila Amolo Odinga. The moment Raila Amolo Odinga engaged President Ruto in handshake, Gen Zs were divided. Almost a quarter of them who were following Raila, they started to pigeonhole that protest as a narrative being sponsored by Mount Kenya oligarchs. At that time, they used to say, Sisi from Nyanza, we are in government. But in the real sense, before the handshake, even you saw people in Bondo, you saw people in Kisumu, young people in Homa Bay, taking it to the street and demanding for good health, an end to corruption, good education, and etc. When Raila joined the government, before Raila joined, Raila was talking about and even advising President William Ruto that it is now enough, do not kill these young people. But the moment Raila joined, he became a master of doublespeak. He was in the government through handshake when Albert Ojwang was killed. Is that not betrayal? The same Raila was in government when we had 11 billion share scandal at that time. Before he joined the very same government, he used to talk about that we need a government whereby corruption will be a sacrilege and any corrupt leader will be arrested. So I don't believe that all these handshakes Raila has been doing with all this government, it is for the goodwill of the people. It has most of the time based on personal interest. And that is why you saw even people from Masailand complaining that we've been following Raila since 2007. But anytime Raila joins the government, he's joining not as a national figure, but rather as a Luo leader. And that is why you've been seeing anytime he joins the government, when they talk about the development, I've never seen Raila joining the government and people from Western Province cherishing that we are in government. People from Coast or from Northeastern who have been supporting Raila. It has always been the people from Luo Nyanza saying we are in government after Raila joining the government. And lastly, my brother talked about handshake is not betrayal. This is democracy. And the problem I have with handshake is one. And in this case, I'll use still Raila Amolo Odinga as a case study because he's the only political figure known for handshake narratives in this country. Raila fought for multi-party democracy. Very true. Raila said very many things against Moi. He said Moi is the problem we have in this country, blah, blah. The same Raila joined Moi even before Moi solving the problems he was fighting for against in the street. When he was in the seat at that time, apart from political democracy, political pluralism, he was talking about corruption in that government, favoritism and everything. Then after Moi shortchanging Raila into O2 and not endorsing Raila, Raila came back and told us, Moi is the problem again we have in the country. He joined hands with Kibaki. Raila came and told Kenyans, Kibaki is one of the favorite leaders we can have who can change this country. After joining him, the moment they disagreed politically, he was again coming back and saying, Kibaki is the problem. After that, he joined Uhuru Kenyatta. The very same thing, and even President Ruto. It is there on record, Raila saying, Ruto can be given even more than 100 years, but nothing will change in this country. So if this is not betrayal and politics of personal interest, then what is this?
Okay. I will give you an opportunity to respond, but I have to bring in Mr. Malama into the Mr. Malama. What do you think? How are you? And I don't know if you were here when we were discussing the issues of Homa Bay. Were you here?
No, I wasn't.
You are not having your mic on. Your mic is today.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah. What did you think about what is happening? Should we mediate? Should you think that we should be mediating between politicians when there is a problem with them?
I don't think this is a problem that needs mediation.
You can speak up a little bit.
I don't think this is a problem that needs mediation because these are two adults. Let me use Sifuna and Kaluma, for example. Two grown-up adults who are worrying about the control of ODM. That's exactly where the problem started. In another tweet, in a very recent tweet, Kaluma says, Sifuna should just join them. So it tells you the conflict is from some internal rivalry. And when Sifuna and Orengo realized they are being sidelined at ODM, they decided to leave. So that's a problem for Kaluma and Wanga. They do not understand why Sifuna and Babu are not supporting William Ruto while the rest of ODM is supporting William Ruto. In fact, if you'd ask them, the easiest thing to do is to force Sifuna and Babu and Karoli and Kibagendi to toe the line. According to them, towing the line is supporting William Ruto's re-election and supporting a failed regime. And Sifuna and Babu, amongst other principals in Linda Mwananchi, are two sober adults who've realized we are on the wrong boat. And they decided to jump ship. They realized that William Ruto has not fulfilled his promises, and they realized that supporting his re-election is dooming the rest of us, including themselves, whether they will be eating confidently in government or not. They realized that this country is bigger than the two of them and their stomachs. And they decided, we will not be Wanga, we will not be Kaluma, we will stand with the people. And that's exactly what they did. And that is a thorn in the flesh of Wanga and Kaluma. And I also had talk from Kaluma and other Nyanza politicians who are saying that Babu Owino is a Nairobi politician who has come to colonize Nyanza. And Kaluma also posted a picture of Babu Owino on one side and on the other side another Indian. So he's attempting to tell us that Babu Owino is Indian and that he's not Luo enough and that they will not allow him to colonize Luos, which is not one of them, according to Kaluma. So that seems to be some rivalry issue, and it's just purely politics. It's sad that it has to go beyond an exchange of words to actual deployment of goons and suppression. That's the sad part. But as for the political part, I think that's part of politics. It's part of politics to sometimes it happens, character assassination happens, even in first world countries that happens, even in America itself. And it is part of politics to, sometimes we've seen sometimes we've seen efforts to undermine the policies of your rivals and the campaign manifestos. That is part of what politics is. But it is sad that it has to boil down to pangas, knives, rape, murders, closure of roads, and that's the politics I do not agree with. And if you would ask me, I think we've blamed Babu Owino, Sifuna, Kaluma and Wanga long enough, but we've forgotten that we had a neutral player here who had the mandate to provide law and order, to keep people safe, to prevent crime, to apprehend offenders, and to protect lives and property. And that is the Kenya Police Service. And I am disheartened by how the National Police Service was either negligent or just decided to sabotage Sifuna and Linda Mwananchi just because they don't appear to be supporting the government. Because now this is making the police service appear partisan. You cannot tell me that the police commanders, the county commanders, and the station commanders in Homa Bay did not know that there was a looming crisis in Homa Bay, that there was possibility of violence, bloodshed, rape, goons, and the kind of lawlessness we saw. If myself in Nairobi, I knew that was a possibility from how the Wanga and Kaluma were inciting the people in their local dialect. Then it doesn't make sense to me that those station commanders did not know that in this very county there's a possibility of violence and we need to prepare adequately. If they needed extra reinforcement from Kakamega and Bungoma, I mean, we should have seen the county commander of Homa Bay talking about the same, addressing this issue, but he's been silent on this. And the station commanders in Homa Bay have not vocalized themselves on this issue, and it appears deliberate. The same way Murkomen and Raymond Omolo are not keen on addressing this issue.
Why do you think they're not addressing it? I understand if Raymond Omolo was not speaking, but the CS of Interior is completely silent on the same.
I wouldn't understand if Omolo was not speaking because he's the PS for Interior and he comes from Homa Bay. How would he not be interested? After all, he's been all over the place. He's been all over the country.
Yeah.
So how would he not be interested? As for Murkomen, when violence happens elsewhere, he's the first one to throw jabs. He's the first one to accuse Gachagua. He always has a boogeyman to blame. And he always knows who has organized those goons. But when it comes to Homa Bay, Murkomen does not know who has organized goons in Homa Bay. Murkomen suddenly does not have intelligence that there is a possibility of violence because of two warring factions or two rivals that are about to clash in a few days to come. And this gives a telling to any sane Kenyan that it is possible that Murkomen, William Ruto, PS Raymond Omolo are all in on this. It's an orchestrated thing. And maybe they wanted to teach Sifuna and Babu Owino a lesson. That's why it is not important now. It's
and
not
they could only teach Sifuna and Babu a lesson in Nyanza? They couldn't teach Babu a lesson in Western?
They understand the situation here.
Okay.
That some segments of residents of Homa Bay have said, we are in government.
Okay.
Some residents have said we are in government. The rest have said we are not in government. So this is a polarized region, and it is easier to create a perception in such kind of a region that these guys were not being chased by goons. They were not being attacked by goons. But reasonably, these guys found themselves in the hands of the common mwananchi who did not support the one-term rhetoric. It's very easy to sell that narrative in a polarized region, as opposed to, say, Mount Kenya, which is probably right now united against William Ruto. That we already know. So that's why Homa Bay was a soft spot to sell that kind of perception that Sifuna and Babu were being chased away by Homa Bay residents who did not agree with the one-term line of thought.
Okay.
And it is setting a bad precedence going forward that the Ministry of Interior and the National Police Service is selective on how to administer justice. And it appears to them they should provide law and order to campaigns and rallies that are pro-government. And they have no interest or nothing, or have nothing to gain from ensuring that there are peaceful rallies for the opposition. And this has been the trend. When William Ruto was the deputy president, you remember him decrying this kind of selective treatment from the police. Back then he said, the current situation we have and the anarchy we have in this country and the political intolerance and the violence that is being meted on me as William Ruto and those of us who are in opposition is because the Inspector General of Police is very incompetent. And that the Inspector General of Police has relinquished his powers to the president, who now deploys and commands the entire police service. And he sends police escort and security selectively, especially to where the president has rallies. But where he does not have rallies or interest, or where there is perception that this side of this country does not support government, the president does not deploy enough security to preempt any threats. Okay. And as I wind up, back then he said the Inspector General of Police was Uhuru Kenyatta. And that is why himself, William Ruto, Raila Odinga, and those that appeared to be in opposition or not in agreement to the Jubilee government were being sidelined, targeted, and persecuted. So today, if we flip the card, then I ask William Ruto, are you not now the Inspector General of Police? Aren't you dealing a bad card to the opposition as you were dealt in 2018 to 2022? because that is exactly what we are saying, that in your command, because the president is the chief commander, in your chain of command there is selective administration of justice and law and order, and you are the top boss. Are you confirming to us that you are as bad as Uhuru Kenyatta was? Then if that is the case, why then should we vote you in 2027?
Okay. I want to turn to Meshach. Meshach, here, you have heard the gentleman talking about mediation and what you think should happen. What do you think should happen with the mediation issue? And do you think that this is just politics and you shouldn't bother about whether they are understanding each other, they are loving each other again, whether Kaluma, whether Wanga, Babu, and Orengo? Do you think they should sit down and take tea, or that's the nature of politics and we should just allow it to continue?
Thank you, Jagero. There has been a lot of things said, but I want to begin from that question.
Yeah.
And then coming back to some of the issues that have been raised by my brothers here. One, I actually think we should handle the situation of Homa Bay first as a community, because there's a reason why community exists. So the situation in Homa Bay for me looks like there has been a little bit extra or excesses coming from the some of the leaders that we consider as a community great leaders and have come a long way. One of them is James Orengo. Nobody doesn't know James Orengo in the Luo nation, including the younger generation who are in school. Some of us went to school, and names like James Orengo appeared in history books here and there because of the kind of politics they did earlier, from the university all the way to parliament, getting to parliament as one of the youngest politicians, and also moving the issues of liberation and all that. But for now, having been an adult and here watching, I actually think looking at it from a member of the community as a Luo, I think this is where the Council of Elders comes in. The Luo Council of Elders, who have got care, has got capacity and ability to summon these two leaders. Because first, Orengo goes to Homa Bay, I think it was in Kadongo, and says some unprintable words to Gladys Wanga. And Wanga is a leader in the county of Homa Bay, just like Orengo is a leader in Siaya County. But Orengo is also an old man that Wanga can easily be his daughter by age. And so there are things that even if the law does not find you guilty of, but then reasoning and just having your dignity would not allow you to say some of those things, because you would realize this Gladys Wanga is like my daughter. So there are things you can't tell your daughter, even though the law has nothing to do with whether you can say it or not. So this is the reason why I think the Council of Elders need to just invite Gladys Wanga as the governor of Nairobi, as a leader in the Luo nation, and invite Governor James Orengo, iron out this as the cultural leaders of the community. And that will probably help us solve 60% of the political issues that are there, because it all boils down to that. Then on the political angle, NCIC can only come if there is incitement between a community and a community. And I don't think up to that point the issue in Homa Bay is incitement of a community and a community. It's still not that. It's purely politics, rival politics between who do people listen to in this region, in this Homa Bay. So there are people who say Wanga is the leader, supreme leader here. And some other people say Orengo is the man we listen to. So that purely is not enough to go before the NCIC as at this point. It could be going to the NCIC, according to me, if it was one section inciting against another community or something like that, because we need cohesiveness. But at the level of the Luo community, I think this is where care needs to come in, Odungiranda.
It is very interesting that you are talking about Odungiranda, care, and the rest of them.
Yes.
Because who are these people, by the way? Do they really wield any proper power? Because I've never heard of them coming in to negotiate with anybody in terms of distress.
Maybe they have not, but this is a reason why they should step up. Other communities also have elders. You know, the Council of Elders in Meru, what do they call them?
Jurincheke.
You know, they have powers. They invite leaders. They talk about issues. In your part of the country,
the Kawira Mwangaza issue.
Yes, they actually did. In your part of the country, those elders are always there. And even other communities. So I think even the Kikuyu Nation, we've seen them a lot, sometimes intervening. This is the point, Jagero, where Odungiranda should intervene with the council. Maybe they have not done it before, but they should learn and probably see it that today we have a reason to actually come out and do a proper thing. Invite these leaders. And they might even invite all other leaders that are at that level. Ochilo is in Migori, Nyong'o is in Kisumu. And say, you people can do politics within the Luo nation without going extra in terms of showing morals and respect to each other. Because a leader is a leader in a county. So even if Wanga was to go to Siaya, she can go as ODM chairperson, but she might also want to say, I am right now in the territory that is, Orengo is elected as a leader, as the supreme. So it is good to show respect while I am here and things like that. That does not mean that she is not listened to in Siaya. Still she is listened to. So I look at that from that angle. Then when it comes to the national level, it is an issue of security. Now we move away from respect to each other and cultural guidance. We move to now security. This is where now we talk about what was the role of the police in this, and what did the police do, and could there be anything police would have done better? Because police were actually there, and you know, it is said, and I think many media houses have also confirmed that there's a policeman who died. Yeah,
true.
If I'm correct.
Yes.
So we need to ask ourselves the tough questions. This police, if the narrative is the ODM leadership in Homa Bay had goons and stopped the Linda Mwananchi, or tried to stop the Linda Mwananchi, and the narrative from Linda Mwananchi is the police didn't do anything, and the police are quote unquote seen to be working in cahoot with the ODM team on the ground, and that is why the things that happened to Linda Mwananchi happened. If we buy that as the narrative, then who could have killed the police? Because if I know, Jagero, you are the police and you are here to support me, and my opponent is that one, why should I turn around and kill you? So if the narrative is police were actually deployed to support the ODM leadership on the ground, and so ODM leadership on the ground hired goons to do the things that were done, then it could only mean that police were friends with the goons. So who killed the police? Because that would be the next question very quickly. Who actually killed the police? And that would take me to stretch the imagination then. Because the only video that I have seen on social media here and there is one video of Opondo Kaluma, MP of Homa Bay Town, talking to the young people before the D-Day. And then the only other video I have and I saw, actually I even have it on my timeline and posted, is the video where these people are in Sindo, and the MP of that area, Karoli Omondi, says we want to speak very shortly, and then we go and fight with those people in Homa Bay. And then Babu picks the microphone and say, wale watu wa pikipiki bodaboda kaeni mbele tuende tuone nguvu yao imefika wapi. Those are the videos I have. I still don't have any evidence directly linking Governor Wanga into organizing and executing this. But her name is all over. Apparently her name is all over. But if you ask anybody to give you even a small bit of where Wanga is now inciting the young people that go and do this and do that, you don't find, I haven't found anybody else who can actually bring. Then the next video that I have that can be linked to this is the company of Linda Mwananchi, specifically James Orengo, with some young men carrying pangas. I think in this room there must be somebody who saw that. Some young men carrying pangas from one car boot to another as they go. So if you end up with the police dying, and then the Linda Mwananchi group says, we were attacked by goons. Who actually killed the police?
The question is,
yes,
why can it be so sudden?
Yeah.
That everybody is talking about Gladys Nyasuna Wanga,
yeah,
and yet she was not involved. So why in your interrogation, why?
In my thinking,
why is she being?
Yeah, in my thinking, I think the only thing that keeps linking, I'm not saying Governor of Homa Bay is clean. Okay. I'm only saying I still don't have any evidence right now linking her. Like, for example, we would say, we have seen the video where Kaluma was seen to be speaking to young people and said some words that
also if right now something happens, for example, Odhiambo Tieno or one of my close friends are doing something, and everybody knows that within that team,
yes,
Odwuri Jagero is the one who appears to be the leader,
yes,
of these people, and they are walking around and they're doing this thing. And then one of the guys that apparently is below you in hierarchy.
That's something.
Because we can say that Pondo Kaluma is below in hierarchy,
yes,
to Gladys Wanga.
Yes.
And they are bosom friends. They are friends who know each other. And so the assumption always is that when Kaluma is seen to be doing something, then the other person is involved.
That's where I'm coming to.
Yeah.
So my thinking is, one, there were 3 or 4 press conferences which were given by Linda Mwananchi team before they went to Homa Bay. And these press conferences categorically kept mentioning Governor Gladys Wanga. At some point they were mentioning Ochila Yako, Governor of Migori, Ogindo, an MCA, Kaluma, and among others. But with time, the mentioning of Ochilo is diminishing. Now it is remaining Governor Wanga.
But Ochilo also said something today that everybody knows, and he said
that one is about the planned visit of Migori.
Yes, and it appears to me that it is the same thing.
So let me land.
Yeah.
So the mentioning of Governor Wanga in those press conferences has actually shaped the thinking of people, and everybody feels like she is involved. But then the second one is now the guilty by association, what you've just described. That you and I are always bosom friends, moving around together. You seem to be higher in the pecking order, and so whatever I've done is counted for you. And it is happening in politics a lot. Right now, many people will tell you, if you hear Murkomen say that, William knows. Sometimes they used to say, if you hear Orengo says that, Raila is the one who sent him.
Okay.
If you hear Nyong'o says this, it is Raila. So I think this is the situation where now people think Gladys Wanga is the apex leader.
Okay, I want to ask you a difficult question.
Yes.
And I hope you can be able to respond to it.
Yeah.
What do you think of the character of Gladys Wanga? Do you think that she's a peaceful woman, or do you think that she's a woman who is capable?
Okay. This is what I will say with all honesty.
I have another question.
Yes.
Wanga says somewhere around August 12th to August 14th.
Okay, say it again.
Somewhere around August 12th to August 14th.
Okay.
This is part of the reason why Wanga is being brought into the picture. She says,
okay,
Gachagua is the father of goons. How she ascertained that, I don't know. Then she says she has intelligence that Gachagua is planning on importing goons into Homa Bay to cause violence at the Linda Mwananchi campaign or rally. And this is to malign, this is intended to malign the good people of Homa Bay and paint them in bad picture and create the perception that they are not peace-loving, they are violent, and they are not welcoming. So I want to ask you, two questions actually. Do you agree with Wanga that Gachagua is the father of goons? That's the first thing. The second question is, did you see any goons imported by Gachagua into Homa Bay? I mean, if they were, I would expect them to speak a foreign language. But the goons we saw, or the ones we saw wielding machetes, rungus, pangas, were all conversing in the Luo.
What is the intent of your question?
The intent of my question is tied to the fact that he has been very neutral about this on Wanga, even though we know she has said some inflammatory statements before. So I need him to confirm that if this is some reasonable sentiment from a leader, he appears to probably hold in high regard.
Thank you. Jagero, your question was, what do I think about the character of the person or the leader in Gladys Wanga?
Yes.
Gladys Wanga joined the politics in 2013, somewhere around there, or slightly before 2013, and became the woman rep of Homa Bay. But there has never been a situation where Gladys Wanga's name has been mentioned in violence since that time until this one in Homa Bay. If there is one, we both live here, we would have known. So, judged by history, I cannot say I have evidence of him or of her being very violent. But I know she's a woman who has shown a strong character. Both in parliament and even in the community, moving around, everybody knows that. So I can't judge. I would easily judge by history, but history does not give me any evidence of her being that way.
A lot of people have said that Orengo pushed Nyasuna Wanga to the wall and she could have done anything. Do you believe that the disrespect, quote unquote, that Orengo has shown towards her could have tempted her to do the things that are said to have been done?
The truth is, anybody can be violent when pushed to a certain limit. But up to this point, I still might need more than just the press conference that she's mentioned to be
because
having.
Kennedy Ubuya, while speaking at Spice FM, said these words exactly, that when you chase a dog, the dog will run all the way to the door of the owner. And then when it reaches the door, it will turn and bite you. And the idea, I don't know what your interpretation of that was.
I actually think from my end that sometimes it doesn't take the leader to actually do some things. Sometimes the opposite side pushes the agenda. Do we all know? Do we all know why Rigiji, for example, decided not to visit Raila Odinga's burial site during the time every leader wanted to be there? Why didn't he go there? Because Raila himself was already dead. And so could not organize anything to discipline him.
Could not organize goons.
But he still refused until today, unless he is there. Until he is there now.
Do you think that it actually did not go there for fear of violence?
Of course.
Oh, really?
He knew.
Gachagua not going to Raila.
He has not gone there until today. Why?
Mulamba, do you know if it was about violence? And please answer this question in 1 second.
Why do you think he has not gone there?
Why do you think Gachagua did not go there? Because we come
because he sits down and remember the things he had said, and he knows where I'm going are actually supporters of that man. So whatever they may do, I am not sure.
He is right.
Yeah.
Gachagua has a sharp tongue, and he has said, he has uttered statements and sentiments that have been to the detriment of Raila Odinga, ODM as a party, and the Luo people. And if I was Gachagua, I don't think I would have the confidence to face the people of Nyanza. It would take a lot of time for me to convince them that I'm a changed man. I think even at the time of his death, Raila had not forgiven Gachagua. You remember, they nicknamed him Gachiedha. Baada ya kuweka mitego, haikuishia kwa mitego. He was meeting with the security chiefs mapema sana to deal with Azimio. I don't think those things have escaped Raila Odinga. And
so Jagero, I just want to now take a minute to wrap up.
Yes, that's great.
Coming to the other issues that were raised by some of my brothers here. One, I think Raila having handshake in different regimes have helped move this country to another level.
Thank you.
And everybody has their opinion. My opinion is Raila went through detention and all that, and Moi was a dictator because even the constitution then had allowed Moi to dictate. Some of these powers were actually vested in the presidency. So no matter what you do, some of the times you would not be found guilty of anything, including land issues. There were no National Land Commission, so the president was to actually give you the land if he wants to, within the boundary. So Raila, if Raila would have come out to be vindictive with Moi, then we would have seen the 2002 NAC winning, and then Raila staying in the middle of that government with one agenda to punish Moi. At that time, there were still a lot of supporters of Moi, even though this country would never have moved the way we moved into the situation where we were now looking for how do we get a new constitution, how do we get zero tolerance to corruption, how do we get free primary education. Those would not have been the agenda. The agenda would have been how do we now pay back. It is our time in power. So I think that handshake also helped the country move away from the leadership of KANU, because if Raila had not joined Moi, then we would have not had the Kalonzos of this world, Saitotis of this world leaving KANU. They would have stuck there. It is Raila who moved, and it is wrong for the young man to try and paint it a picture that Moi did not appoint Raila. That is why Raila left. The difference in principle there is what helped the likes of Kalonzo and Saitoti, among others, to follow Raila. The bone of contention was simple: democracy. So Raila said, let us have the delegates choose who the presidential candidate for KANU in the 2002 election should be. Then Moi refused and say he is the one appointing, and he appointed Uhuru. Then Raila said, come on, Ivio, it is good to just leave KANU for you and do what? And that brings me to the question of now people
you are 1 minute.
People who I'm finishing, Jagero. Don't cut me short. The people who claim
Jagero.
People who claim to now follow Raila step by step. They differ with the party. They do not want to leave the party. They go to court, they fight to remain, but they claim we are following Raila. When before that Raila had resigned from parliament, went back to the people to show the real democracy.
Let me
the new era Democrats cannot do that.
Allow me to continue where Meshach left. You know, Jagero.
When Meshach condemned those who are not
Jagero. You know, in such conversation, we need to be sincere and we need to be honest. And one thing I can say, and I can quote a senior counsel by the name Abdikadir, who is a constitutional lawyer. There is a saying that he said, if your only tool is hammer, everything will look like a nail. What do I mean? Kenya's political ecosystem is shaped by narrative. Remember what this gentleman said. Raila Amolo Odinga betrayed Gen Zs. How has he betrayed Gen Zs while the 10-point agendas that they agreed with William Samoei Ruto is on Google? It is transparent. If you can even read it. Okay? How then Sifuna is it
wrote.
In fact, it's the Secretary General Sifuna wrote and read in front of who? In front of the President, William Samoei Ruto, and the world. So how is that then a betrayal? That is number one. Number two, we need to understand the form of dispute resolution. In this context, the best approach, form of dispute resolution is AJS, which bring the customary practices, the societal norms, the societal values which Meshach talked about, and dialogue. And allow me to tell my brother here that age is not a factor that can hinder someone not to mediate.
Did you talk about date?
Yes, he talked about age.
Where? When?
Whereby we talked about James Orengo, Babu Owino, you said, I actually quoted it. What I'm saying is, if you go back and look at, allow me to finish.
Yeah, but you are the one who is.
I said this is politics.
You are the one who is mentioning his name in vain.
I said no. This is politics. I did not mention age. I actually
noted it here. Okay, maybe I framed it in a different way.
Yeah,
but you
misheard it.
No.
Maybe you had what you wanted.
The good thing, this thing is broadcasted.
But let him go. I think can we agree that there is contention of what you had?
Okay, then provided it will not be branded on my forehead, likewise to him as well. What I'm saying is, age cannot be a factor.
Okay.
If we go back to the history, during the post-violence election, for Kofi Annan to be deployed as a mediator, to come and mediate the problem that was existing, it was not easy. So many mediators were appointed at that time, and they were rejected. Part of them is Cyril Ramaphosa. Even Kofi Annan, at first he hesitated not to go, but later on, when necessitated, he had to go, he mediated. And I also urge the people who are saying that Raila Amolo Odinga has betrayed, I urge them to read the report that were established at that moment, which is the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation report. That is at the Hansards. Number two, what I'm saying is the best approachable mechanism that can be deployed at the moment is dialogue. And let me talk about NCIC. NCIC's role is not just to talk about hate speech, Jagero. NCIC is a constitutionally mandated institution that is supposed to work on social integration, social cohesion, as well as peace building.
Okay.
Now the problem that does exist is NCIC, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's run by people that are not there on merit based. That's why NCIC till now is unable to earn public trust and public confidence. Likewise to the National Police Service. My brother again here, and now I stand to be corrected, he talked about President William Samuel Ruto actually infringing all institutions. Between him and President William Samuel Ruto, the person who has more powers, constitutional powers, is him to make sure that institutions are strengthened. I said, elected politicians are not even a half of Kenya's politician. If all of us collaborate, allow me to finish.
What did he actually say? I'm trying to digest.
He's saying that it is part of your responsibility to
as
make sure.
Citizens.
Yes.
Let me remind him that the chairperson of NCIC and most of these commissions is appointed by the president.
Yes.
And then he can appoint his friends.
That's why.
Now pick up from.
That's why I'm saying it is good to hang so that I can finish and you get a full context of what I'm talking about. We are in a democratic state. Democracy means, Jagero, we are in a social contract. The last time I read about doctrine of privity, it is stated that only parties to a contract
doctrine of privity.
Yes.
What does that
only
mean?
Parties to a contract have the contractual obligation and contractual right.
Okay.
This person, you are the one who elected him. And for you to elect him or her, there were some necessities, there are some things that you considered. You are the one who elected him. You electing him.
So then Mulamba is a representation of Kenyans.
What if we
Mulamba,
did not?
That is the English that passed.
What if we did not? I did not elect William Ruto, and there are 6 million to 7 million Kenyans out there.
I don't know now, Jagero.
Democracy.
Jagero, allow me to ask you this question, Jagero. Are you the one who is chairing this session, or is just a normal normal conversation whereby everybody is just popping in.
No,
because I have to finish, you know what I'm saying.
It is a point of interjection.
Let him note. I'm here. I was noting everything. That's why I'm trying to expound and give my opinion on whatever
there is an issue here. There is an issue here. You are saying that the problem that we are having as a country is that we democratically elect governments, and we democratically elect Ruto in 2022. That's what you're saying. And the people that elected President Ruto, you are saying that he's one of them, even though he's not one of them, but he represents the Kenyans. That is the English that that is what you're saying, right?
So, okay. Then that means you are making me then to you are telling me that I should speak in a language that is understandable, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Now what I'm saying is we have a collective responsibility to cure the problem that we have, to treat the issues that we have. Okay? That's why I started with my conversation. If your only tool is hammer, then everything else look like a nail. Anytime we have a problem, the only thing that does exist is blame gaming. Why are we not suggesting solution? Okay? Now, to bring that one and to bring it home, that's why today we have the issue of goonism, political violence, of which these are things that not existed today, or no, I mean, these are not things that just started yesterday. These were things that existed long ago. The question then we should be asking ourselves is, who are the people who are recruiting these goons? Who are the financiers? Who are the people who is giving them political protection? Then there we can understand that there is going to be a chain of analyzing the problem that is existing at that moment. Okay? And as I conclude, as I conclude, what I'm saying is, Kenya ni ya sisi sote. It's not owned by just an individual person. There is need for us to have a multi-stakeholder approach that is coordinated and synchronized, that will enable us to solve the problem that we have, other than us consuming narrative that do not exist. And the question that you actually posed to Meshach was, not you also, my brother here, how do you see Gladys Wanga? I'm sure the answer that everybody was waiting was, Gladys Wanga is someone who is bad. There is nobody who is perfect, Jagero. Okay? And to answer his question that you asked is, why is it that Gladys Wanga was mentioned? It's because Gladys Wanga is the governor of Homa Bay. Gladys Wanga belongs to the broad-based government, which is a political network. The opponent of this political network is Linda Mwananchi. So the expectation there is they are not going to be welcomed, you know, and it's just a narrative that does exist. Thank you.
All right. Yes, Nyanduga, can I allow Nyanduga to come in? Nyanduga, do you have some rejoinder to everything that has been said?
Yes, I'm going to respond to Wakili and Mesha collectively because they're speaking the same language.
They're speaking the same language?
Yes, politically.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
And we are not hiding. We're not hiding.
Okay,
personally, I'm not hiding. I'm a firm supporter of President William Samoei Ruto, and he's going to be re-elected come 2027, and the government will continue from there.
I'm a firm member of ODM party, and ODM party is in relationship with UDA party.
Thank you.
Now,
but how do you guys know each other?
In fact,
we don't know. We don't know. Actually,
yes, but from I think we've met.
You can have your microphone. Don't eat jugus, bro. You eat jugus later.
We met once, and I did not ask him which side he supports.
Why?
Because well, I don't know, it just escaped me. But from how he was passing his points, I could tell he's defending
like
William.
a duck, walks like a duck.
Yeah, he was just all neutral, and you could tell.
Yeah, but what makes him a government supporter before he said it?
Before he said it, you could listen to the language on how he's defending everyone who is on that side.
And Jagero, I have a question. And I have a challenge to this gentleman here. And my challenge is, if he can convince us today, the better alternative that we have than President William Samoei Ruto, I promise I'm going to mobilize votes for him on Northern Kenya. I challenge him to convince us.
He has
to challenge us.
Which side do you think he belongs?
Automatically, he is just a one-term battalion who do not have agenda number one.
I'm not a one-term battalion.
They do not anchor.
Ruto must go Gen Z. You should never forget that. Gachagua found us here. When he was getting impeached, we were still on the street saying Ruto must go. The one-term narrative cannot eclipse Ruto must go. It came before that.
But the tribeless Gen Zs are now based on tribe. And
how many of them are tribal?
Am I lying, Mesha?
How many of them are tribal? How many of them are tribal? How many of them are tribal?
Can I because are you speaking the same language as him?
Yes. No, he understands the situation.
Yes,
we have
it's not about situation, Jagero. The reality is.
Allow your comrade to go on first.
I have no problem.
We are cut from the same cloth.
It's okay. Let me respond to the two of you. And I'll respond first with the political affiliation.
Yes.
They've just confirmed here. Meshach said
remember to have the mic.
He is
young man.
An ordained member. In fact, he's a bona fide member of ODM, which is in political partnership with UDA.
Yes.
Now, you are talking about age as a factor, right? When you said the political succession in Nyanza, when you ever look at it, people like Orengo, they have been in political space for very long period of time, right? And now it is also time at least we have another energy, a new energy to move our society forward. When you talk about age, then this is so much questionable because you are in Linda ground, which is being led by your party leader.
We don't have Linda ground. We have
okay.
ODM.
We have ODM, which is being led by
anything you want.
Someone.
You guys ran out of money
because
very old age. Government has not released your money.
Let Nyandoga finish.
No, it was just the interjection. They ran out of money because William Ruto has not released their 12 billion shillings. They ran out of money.
Okay.
Linda ground deleted.
Fair enough.
Now,
we will get an opportunity to respond.
If you talk about age, then I wonder because your party leader then should never be anywhere near the National Executive Council of ODM. Should age be a factor? Then now you said something very funny, that there is no public record where Wanga has been accused of anything violent politically, right? In 2017, Wanga was summoned by the NCIC and DCI for making some of the claims that were politically violent. There is something you can fact check even now online. In 2019 again, Wanga was summoned by the same body for making some of the remarks which were meant to at least infiltrate the political situation at that time. You said something again, which is very sweet in Homa Bay. That there is a video.
Before you leave that part of Wanga,
yes.
If Wanga was invited by the commission in 2017,
yes,
what was the result of that? Because that is what determines whether I can be accused and go to court, but that doesn't mean I am guilty. The court might find me not guilty. So what was the result?
You are innocent until proven.
A few moments ago, in fact, I don't know it's Wakili or Meshach, one of them said even NCIC is not independent. I think it's Mulamba. And that is right. NCIC, one of us. Yes, I think it's you, Wakili, who said, and it's the role of the presidency.
I've not said that one, but just continue.
Then, even if you guys have not said, then let me say it now for the record.
What I said is, just to assist you, what I said is, NCIC till date, it has not yet earned public trust and public confidence.
Nice. Now, if it has not up to date, if it has not even today earned the public trust, then it means any decision made by the NCIC, according to me, in the eye of the people, it will be null and void. Because you cannot believe a decision which has been made by a committee you don't trust from the foundation. So, irrespective of the decision which was made at that time by the DCI or NCIC, then it was just about whether it was formal or informal. Then we don't trust it. You talked about there is a circulating video of Governor James Orengo standing next to people carrying pangas, brandishing pangas.
Not standing. Yes. They were in his campaign.
They were in his campaign. Want to remind you, one of the few first rallies Linda Mwananchi group held, one of them was through Siaya to Busia, right? Siaya is also in Luhya Nyanza, which is today being considered a polarized region politically, Whether they're in 1 term or 2 term, that is just a matter of another discussion. I never saw the same happening in Siaya, which is also occupied by the same Luo, who also occupied the Homa Bay. What happened in Homa Bay was this. Even before the rally, there was already a popular public opinion that many politicians had organized goons against the Linda Mwananchi. And the constitution is clear. You have a right to live. And in case of anything, you have a right to defend yourself.
Yes.
So if the events which took place in Homa Bay, especially on the side of Linda Mwananchi protecting themselves, because you quoted a situation whereby Babu Owino was telling them, watu wa bodaboda mbele, vijana wetu pia chukweni mawe. I will support them because we live in a country whereby had the leaders not protected themselves, more than 2 leaders would have been killed. And if you don't believe this, listen to the speech of Governor George Natembeya after the rally. Think of a situation, and God forbid, people like Governor Natembeya would have been attacked, even killed, things like that.
No, but he was attacked, I need to remind you, and he hid in a classroom.
Yes, in
fact. And he jumped over a fence.
So, I think it was the full right of Linda Mwananchi to protect themselves in any way possible. When you saw Mheshimiwa Babu telling police officers, and in fact vijana wa bodaboda that kaini mbele vijana wetu chukweni mawe, it was after Babu Owino even having a discussion with police. And I remember this is video which is online in the public forum. He even questioned the police, why are you guys not joining us? Tunapigwa vita na mko tu hapa mnaona, si muingie katika gari zetu tuendelee na nyinyi pamoja. So I think if it was so wrong for Linda Mwananchi to protect themselves, then there must be problem with anybody making that kind of decision. Then as I continue,
before you leave that,
yes.
I think you need to then clarify this, because these 2 narratives, Jagero, cannot go at the same time. Who actually killed the police? Because if the ODM are the ones who had goons and which killed the police, then the idea that police were just there and were not doing anything should die. That idea should die. Police were actually doing something. But if the police were there and not doing anything, actually supporting ODM, then the idea that you didn't have goons as Linda Mwananchi should also die. It means it is you and the goons you took there that killed the police. So choose one and then the viewers can take the next
there is no justification. Also, in addition to that, just a minute, sorry for intervening, about NCIC and public trust is just a good question. How many Kenyans know what NCIC is all about? Nobody knows. So what I'm saying is, if NCIC could have made an outreach program to the grassroots level, educating what NCIC is, what the mandate does it have, then that could have given them a public trust, and that could have overpowered the political intervention.
Okay. Let me continue now. If the government cannot protect us, then we have a full right to protect ourselves. And this was the message being passed by Linda Mwananchi last weekend in Homa Bay. Now, moving away from that, you see, Chakero, we had somebody by the name John Locke who talked about the principles of democracy. And one of them is consent of the governed. Consent of the governed in a manner, you cannot rule people who have defied your rules. If people stand up and say, we are not going to follow the direction you are taking us to, or the direction you are trying to persuade us to follow, then that is the majority rule. If Wanga and the team force the people of Homa Bay, I'm not trying to say they force them, but in any way, if they're going to force them to follow the 2-term route, then it was clear that the people of Homa Bay said, no, we are taking another political route. So I think in a democracy, one of the principles is that you have a right to revolution. What you see in Nyanza, as they talked about, as I rubbish the issue of Council of Elders, is that when we talk about revolution in Nyanza, majority of the people in Nyanza have realized that plebiscite democracy is not working for the Nyanza people. That is why you see underdevelopment in Nyanza. A situation whereby a decision is being made by a popular opinion of an elected leader, and in this case, somebody like Raila will just come and hold your hand and say, this is the next member of parliament. And indeed, whether you are a performer or not, you'll get elected. And now on the issue of Council of Elders.
Wait, bro. That part.
You'll respond to that.
Okay.
Now, in that plebiscite democracy, that is why you saw the state of road you saw in Homa Bay looking like that. It is because of that. These people have just realized, especially we young people, that it is not working. That is why we are coming with a deliberative democracy, where before you make a decision to follow a specific leader, you must ask for their agenda, their manifesto, and track record. And for your information, you talked about senior counsel, Governor James Orengo, who is my governor back at home. James Orengo is the senior most politician in this country. There is not even a single record in public forum or in public eye where Orengo had betrayed the people popularly. I'm going to respond to all of this. You also talked about the virtues, values, and characters of Raila and Moi were not corresponding to each other. When Moi failed to endorse Raila, I want to tell you, and you can confirm, this is something you can confirm.
That's what you're saying. That's not what I said.
Then what did you say?
I said when Raila joined KANU,
yes,
Raila pushed the agenda that as a political party, the true democracy requires us to have the delegates to choose who the presidential candidate for the party in the next election should be. But Moi took the opposite direction, that he is supposed to be the one to point who should take over, and he actually went ahead and pointed Uhuru.
So my
That's
point
what I
is,
Also on that one, I just want you to clarify something. What do you mean by saying that Governor James Orengo has never betrayed the people? So do you mean betrayal in terms of service delivery, or do you mean that betrayal in terms of just having narrative?
I'll respond to that also. What happened between Moi and Raila was this. Raila joined Moi with a clear mindset and a kind of understanding, thinking that Moi would endorse him. When Moi died, there was an article published by the Standard newspaper showcasing and detailing everything which unfolded on that day. Raila was waiting for Moi's endorsement in one of the hotels in Nairobi. I'm not going to mention the name of the hotel, but it's something you can fact check. And Jakoyo Midiwo had warned Raila earlier that this political marriage you have with Moi will lead to another betrayal. But Raila never believed. But now, the day Raila was sitting down in one of the hotels in Nairobi thinking that there will be breaking news that President Moi endorses Raila for presidency, Raila was seen. Yes, there was a breaking news, but the breaking news was that Moi had endorsed Uhuru Kenyatta at that time in Mount Elgon, which they consider as a sacred place for the Kalenjin community. So it was not something about, character, this and this. And in fact, Raila joining Moi was a betrayal of the people. Nothing changed between the point Raila was in opposition fighting for democracy and Raila joining Moi. Raila joined Moi thinking that Moi will elevate him to presidency, which at the end of the day backfired. Again, you guys talked about...
In finishing.
Yes,
because we want to go to the main topic now.
Talking about the kind of politics in Nyanza, I'll have to say this. Majority of the Luos have woken up. They've realized where the rain started beating them. The rain started beating us immediately after multi-party democracy. You see, multi-party democracy doesn't mean we have very many parties like we have today. No. We can even have 5 progressive political parties which uphold the dictates and framers of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. And if the people of Luo Nyanza have made a solemn decision that there is a paradigm shift from the legacy politicians we are known for, we are used to a new cold blood where we are going to have at least politics based on agenda and not any other thing. Because when you look at the politics in Nyanza and in Homa Bay specifically, what Wanga and the team feared was not about the influence of these people. What they feared was, if Sifuna and the team will lead to a big crowd of Linda Mwananchi in Homa Bay, then UDA would probably ask them, then, if we believe that you guys have a full control of Nyanza and we are seeing what is happening in Homa Bay and the larger Nyanza region, that Mwananchi is now taking over from you, why are you coming and demanding 50% of the government and even the deputy president? That is what they feared, that had Linda Mwananchi rally succeeded in Homa Bay, then it would have been a sign that Linda ground is politically dead in Nyanza, and therefore there was no need for ODM to ask for 50% share in the government and deputy president. And of course they don't qualify for deputy presidents, because who in the Linda ground now qualifies to be a deputy president?
All right. Yes. All right, thank you very much. I think we need to go over to the other topic, which is I don't know if Mulamba
no.
yeah,
Jagero,
I had something.
You had something. Can we allow you to go on something? Let me give you 2 minutes to go over it because we want to go to the issue of the Luhya land, Luhya politics, which happened today. So just 2 minutes. Then I'll allow the gentleman to also go for 2 minutes, and then we can go forward. Right?
Yeah. I have heard enough of young people who are in two-term.
Yeah. Let's remove this one. Let's remove this. Yeah.
I think by now I have heard enough of young people who are in two-term advising those of us who are in opposition on how and why we need to table solutions for this government. Are they forgetting that this government has more than 1,000 advisors? From the governors who are in government, to the senators, to the executive itself, all of these people have advisors. So you want to tell me that all these advisors who get paid using our money cannot provide solutions to this government? That's one. And two, you want to tell us that as the young people who are in two-term or in support of William Ruto's government and his re-election, you do not have solutions for yourself, by yourselves? That Alionya has to lecture us, and my good friend here has to lecture us that we in opposition are not providing any solutions. You want to tell us that you guys are empty? That it has to come from us? And by the way, one of these days you should invite me with Alionya here. I have some scores to settle. She has told us...
I should invite who?
With Alionya. You should set up a session with me and Alionya. I have some scores to settle. She irritated me on the other day when we were having that town hall. When she was repeating exactly the same kind of narrative, my friend here is saying that we in opposition, especially the young people, should prefer solutions to this government, as if this government is short of solutions. And she appeared to advise us that as the young people, we need to seize every opportunity we get to present solutions to this government, and that she appeared to paint a possibility or a picture of those Gen Zs who are in two-term being lonely, and that they need us, and we should stop shouting from the fringes. We need to join them on the table and start shouting from the table. Then I need to remind them that they are already on that table. How about they table those solutions to William Ruto and let us see him execute him? By the way, for the record, those that are in opposition have been accused for not having an agenda and for not having solutions. But over time, we have pronounced ourselves on this, and we've grown hoarse in repeating the same solutions we have said over the past 3 years. We've said, fix the police service, fix police brutality. Isn't that a solution? That is a solution to the police problem we have in Kenya. We've said, implement the police reforms that were the product of the task force from David Maraga. That report is nowhere near 50% of implementation. The police officers today do not have body cameras. Our police stations do not have CCTV cameras. We have not fixed the command, the chain of command accountability in this country, and that is part of the solutions we've tabled before when we were discussing the problem of goons and the negligence from the police service and the police brutality from that particular service. Have those solutions been effected? If only the problem was solutions. People forget that there's another problem with goodwill. You would give William Ruto all the solutions in this world, but if he's not interested in implementing them, then that just becomes probably noise to him. We've also said you need to fix the attitude of micromanaging everything. That as a president or those that are in executive should not interfere with independent commissions, and we should see them making an effort to empower these commissions with the requisite resources and funds. NCSC will tell you, we are not doing town halls, we are not doing community barazas and meeting with the community because we do not have the resources, we don't have the staff, we don't have the vehicles. IPOA will tell you the same thing. Do you know how many IPOA officers we have in this country? I think less than 500. How are they supposed to serve 60 million Kenyans? Look at the IEBC. That commission has decried underfunding for how long?
All those supposed to be hired by William Ruto, or we started having that number in 2022.
You see, this is an excuse you make conveniently for William Ruto. No, let me land. You forget that William Ruto has inherited some positives in his government. He has inherited a government that has infrastructure that has been built by governments before him. He's inherited a government that is by now working. He's inherited a government that is not near shutdown. Si ile serikali ya 1997, 2001 iliachwa na Moi. He has found a government that already has a vision that is being implemented. He is starting from somewhere. And when we discuss, when we remind him that he has inherited some positive things from administrations before him, hapo wanafunga macho. They are quick, those that are in support of government, and William Ruto himself are very quick to point to the negative things this government has inherited. The underfunding of institutions for one. And a bad economy, secondly. But they forget that they have also inherited some positive things from other administrations that have, of course, made it easier for them to govern.
Jagero.
So wachukue makosa yote, wasiseme ati sasa kwa sababu mtu mwingine aliandafund IBC mimi sitawapea pesa. Kwa sababu serikali ilikuwa nyuma haiko execute vision 2030 mimi kama William Ruto I will have nothing to do it. Kwa sababu serikali ilikuwa nyuma haiku staff na haikupea resources kwa NCIC na kwa IPOA mimi na serikali yangu sitaipea. William Ruto should not forget that he was given a fresh mandate in 2022. So he should stop comparing himself with the presidents that came before him. And when they do compare, they always look for the negative things that happened back then. They will tell you, we will kill today because people were killed by Matiang'i in Rivayala. We will kill today and abduct today and torture people because Moi tortured people in the Nyayo torture chambers. Till when are we going to be reminded of the negative things of the governments that came before them? How about right now? You have the mandate. What's stopping you from funding IPOA? What's stopping you from staffing NCIC? What's stopping you from streamlining IBC and from guaranteeing independence to our commissions? Bwana hiyo mambo ya kushinda tukikumbushwa nyuma and our past ills. Hiyo mambo tunafaa tumalize. I mean, what is he doing in power if he's unable to solve these things? Si basi achie mtu mwingine tuone if someone else will do it better.
Jagero, just a minute.
We have provided solutions for this government. A lot. I've just mentioned a few. In almost every sector. We have also provided some solutions on agriculture. And we've said you need to move beyond subsidizing fertilizer. How about you come up with different interventions for agriculture? How about seeds? How about better quality seeds? How about irrigation and that appears to work for this country? By the way, the government of Israel, which is a desert country, is exporting food and fruits to Africa. And Kenya is not a desert just like Israel. We are a semi-arid country that has a sizable amount of rainfall, and we have rivers, dams, and we have enough lakes in this country and enough arable land to produce enough for ourselves. But funny enough, we are depending on USAID to feed refugees in Kakuma and people in Turkana.
Okay.
Imagine that.
Okay, right. Jagero, thank you. 1 minute. 1 minute.
One minute.
Okay, first of all, allow me to inform my brother that personally I don't welcome political confrontation. What I welcome is political accountability. So if he has issues,
do you feel like he's confronting you?
Okay, what he's talking about is just a typical confrontation. Number
he's
two,
he's in confrontation with who?
Okay, what he's talking about, he said I've been lecturing and all that.
There are parties. Who is he in confrontation of?
Okay, allow me to continue what I'm saying, Jagero, so that I can, intervention will actually make me not to deliver what I wanted to deliver.
Okay.
To understand something is have the clarity that you are seeking.
Okay.
I said the opposition have to bring solution. The society has to bring. The individual has to bring. It is so because we are in a democratic state. We never came with our form of government. It's the democracy that we have, and we have to embrace it. That's number one. Number two, he has talked about the National Police Commission and all that. To ask, have they ever convened a dialogue with the National Police Service? Okay, and there are different kinds of or approaches in which you need to resolve the problems that are existing. Have they ever petitioned a bill to the parliament, or have they made a policy brief? Okay, because we need to understand what structures does exist for us to resolve the problem that is at that particular moment. Okay, and that is now what we need to embrace. And as I conclude,
your 1 minute is over.
Jagero, you gave him a lot of time to speak about something.
You're just interjecting.
As I conclude,
yes,
what I'm saying is the Kenya we need it's us who can make it. It's not from someone else. Okay, and today in Kenya, if you need to have relevance, then you need to shout one term, and typically that's what I'm seeing that he's trying to seek, which is a political relevance.
The best way to account for governments is not the way my brother Mulama is putting it, or mostly the Linda Mwananchi team. The best way to account, if this,
Mulama, by the way, does not belong to Linda Mwananchi.
Whatever side he belongs to, no one cares. This is my proposal, and I think should be the best way for a country to account. If we as a country need to know the police ratio to the number of citizens, we need to know how this shortage is, and is it something that we can do at once or not? If we can't do it at once, then we have to account where did William Ruto pick the government? How was the other government progressing? Did he refuse to progress on the same pace or reduce the pace? Because that's the only way you can say this government is failing us. If the other government was taking us through this progression to attain the number of police versus citizens, and then the new government took over and is either hiring half of what the other government was hiring or not hiring at all, then we have all the right to say this government is failing us. So he needs to start from there. That is why we keep reminding you, what was our pace? Because you might be killing this government, but it is the one who is doing most. If we were to have 40 pupils in class versus one teacher, we need to know, where did Kibaki leave us with that? Where did Uhuru leave us with that? Is William Ruto taking us backward in terms of hiring the teachers, or he is maintaining the pace, or he is doing much better? That way your argument will make sense, and we can all agree there and say this government should be changed, so that we can have a government who can take us either with the same pace we were moving on or a better pace than that. But you can't just come all the times, all you know is this has not been done, this has not been done, this has not been done. That is not how we account. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let us play Boni Alwale talking about Mr. President saying that he did not give him the coordinates to his home. And then we can play the second one where he's saying that Musalia is confused, Wetangula is lost, Oparanya ameshikwa mateke. All right?
Luhya is confused. Wetangula is lost. William Ruto asked me to send coordinates. Nataka hii ionekane vizuri, ndio ndege yake itue. Nikamwambia kupitia karani yake Faruku kwamba Mr. President, mtu kama umefiwa uulizwi kama mtu anataka kuja kufariji. Lakini wewe na kuomba vile mlipepa milioni 5 kupeleka Moranda kuchanganya watoto wetu, alafu watoto wakakataa, wakasema pesa ya kununua shamba mlimekuwa bina. Thank you. Nilimwambia kwamba kwa sababu ya hiyo kitendo nataka matanga ya bibi yangu, mama ya watoto wangu iwe as nice as this. Mr. President, don't come to Malinya. Luhya is confused. Wetangula is lost. Oparanya ameshikwa mateka kwa sababu ya pesa yenye aliiba akiwa katika county government ya Kakamega. Didmus Barasa ameshikwa mateka kwa sababu ameua kijana hapa Kakamega akiwacha president ndani. Bamurulishi nyalu Fred Ikana waita wahuba mapesa kabandu mu pyramid scheme wameshika yeye na kwa nokota
anaambiwa waja imetosha. Nyanduka, the question is, Boni Halwale used to be in government, right? Yeah, right, yes. Right, Mr. Meshach? Why do you think he has left the government?
You see,
you can push the mic a little bit closer to you.
The die of Boni Halwale was cast even before the new political dispensation in Western Kenya. When you listen to Boni Halwale from 2024, immediately after the Gen Z uprising, it is there on record, number one, Boni Halwale said it clearly after the Gen Z uprising that he will ditch UDA to join a party which is primarily led by young people of this country. Then immediately after that, when he was the majority whip in the Senate, it is then the record Boni Halwale questioning the government excesses for very many times. And I knew that his political bonga points at UDA had already been subscribed to. So when you redeem all your political bonga points in a party, and therefore you don't believe in their vision and everything, there must be a problem. But now there is a bigger problem and bigger picture. Apart from that, that is just a small picture. In the recent past, we've seen leaders from Western Kenya asking several tough questions. And one of them is, our community is the second most populous community in the Republic of Kenya after the Kikuyu community. But we've been taken as political jokers for several decades. They are on record saying, Raila used our community. We supported him and believed in his vision that he one day will become president of the Republic of Kenya for us to be in a safer bet. But things never went the way they expected. But now there is already a popular opinion that by virtue of their population, they now need to position themselves. And you've had several of them saying, in 2027, they need either a presidential candidate or a deputy presidential candidate. And for Boni Halwale, he now wants to become the next governor of Kakamega. And truth be told, President William Ruto and his party, which is UDA, has lost a greater percentage of residents, has lost support from a greater percentage of residents from Kakamega. When you want to be a governor of Kakamega and coming with the UDA, which is now losing ground due to some of the atrocities which has been caused by the same government, then you know you are leading to political limbo. But in addition to that, there is already a presidential push by the Western leaders for them to have Sifuna as their flag bearer and Sifuna as their political kingpin. And just like any other region, whether you are ambitious, you have agenda or not, once you do not align with the presidential candidate of the day or the kingpin, then your chances of becoming either a senator, a governor, a women rep, or any other position are so dismal. And lastly, they're now talking as a community. As I said earlier, they're moving from a plebiscite democracy to a deliberative society, where they're saying, sometimes we must sit down and chart the proper way for our community. If Sifuna has proved to the Western people that he is meritorious to lead them as their kingpin. And in fact, you've heard some of the leaders talking about Wetangula, Oparanya, the likes of Mas Baraza and the rest, who were there before, were considered as some of the potential politicians and leaders, at least to lead the community. There is already a paradigm shift from the likes of Atuoli, Mudavadi, and Wetangula to young, strong, energetic leaders like Sifuna. Then you are only going to be a fool in Western Kenya, specifically in Kakamega, where now they were having a burial today, if you support President William Ruto and expect the people of Western to vote for you, who have made a decision at least to follow one of their own and let them never be used again politically.
And Osotsi wants to be what?
Osotsi wants to be the next governor of Vihiga County.
Of Vihiga County.
That is why he's in Linda Mwananchi and aligning himself with the popular narrative, which is currently being followed by leaders from Western Kenya and even
and Natembeya wants to go back.
Natembeya wants to go back for governorship.
And Halwale wants to go back.
Wants to go back to be the governor.
So the reason why they are all trooping towards Sifuna is so that they can be re-elected.
And apart from just being re-elected, they have realized Western Kenya has been behind politically due to divide and rule strategy, which has been used by very many progressive governments and even retrogressive governments we've had in the past. Because remember, during Uhuru's time, it was so easy to divide Western to an extent. You'll see in 2013, Wetangula supporting Raila at that time. Mudavadi at that time was also vying for presidency. You saw that ripple effect to an extent. In fact, it also contributed to one of the reasons as to why Raila failed in 2013. Again, in 2022, you've seen some of the leaders backing Ruto, some of the leaders backing Raila. So moving forward, apart from just positioning themselves to be re-elected, they also want to speak one language as a community, because they know very well, if we can have leaders from Vihiga, Kakamega, Busia, and Trans Nzoia and Bungoma speaking the same language as a Baluya community, as Mulembe Nation, then they can easily negotiate at the dinner table when it comes to political affiliation and even arrangement of the coalition we are just about to see.
Okay. Yes. Mr. Meshack, what do you think
about
the fact that Boni Halwale has now decided that he's joining Mr. Sifuna in his quest. As a matter of fact, can we listen to Sifuna announcing that he has a party before? Because that would add to the question that I'm asking.
A big part of what the success that we have achieved ni kwa sababu watu wanatudharau. Sijui kama mnanielewa. Hawa jamaa wanakaanga wanaangalia hawa vijana, wasema hawa ni watoto kwa siasa, hawajui ile kitu wanafanya. Yaani kwa akili yako. Kwa akili yako tu unakaa tu na unafikiria Sifuna hana chama. Hata kama mmetudharau, hii siasa tumefunzwa na profesa wa siasa mwenyewe, Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Hii fujo mnaona hii ati wanakazia registrar kutupatia sisi brand yetu kwa sababu ni sisi tumejenga hii kitu inaitwa Linda Mwananchi. Lakini nataka niwaulize ndugu yangu, kwa kimombo wanasema a rose by any other name will still smell as nice.
Maybe I should go back to Nyanduga. Nyanduga, what's your party? I imagine that you are in Linda Mwananchi.
Yes, I resigned from the political party which I was a member earlier. That was PLP, to Linda Mwananchi.
What is the name of your party? Because Sifuna has said that he has got a party.
Not really. It can't be public right now. It can't be public.
But did you know before he said?
Yeah, that is something, in fact, which has been said severally. And the other day you saw the attempt.
So why is it a secret?
You see, it's a secret in this way. In politics, we also have several problems here.
Okay.
Once, I cannot pigeonhole them as the enemy, but let me call them political nemesis.
Okay.
When your political nemesis understands every bit of whatever you are trying to do and everything, today as I speak, Sifuna is on the calendar, is a marked person. And therefore, every move Sifuna makes in this government, or in this country, stresses broad-based government heavily. If Sifuna today can come, even before the registration of that party, that we have a party called this and this, tomorrow, you'll see the current regime sponsoring some of the surrogates to register a party with the same name so that they can be blocked.
So does he have a party or he has a name that he wants to register?
He has a reservation of a name for a political party and everything that pertains to that. So the party shall be unveiled.
So then he doesn't have a party?
Sifuna?
Yes.
Yes.
He doesn't have a party?
Currently, you see, a political party only exists when you have followed the legal requirements.
But he has said that he has a party.
Yes, whatever he's trying to say. Sifuna, as I speak to you currently, he is a member of ODM, just like James Orengo and Babu Wino. You see, for example, when you reserve a party like Linda Mwananchi, like they wanted to register it, before registration of a political party or entity, you cannot say, I have a political party.
But Sifuna is saying.
But when you say, I have a party, it is just a direct message.
Maybe he doesn't know.
It's just a message to the people that
use
we
your
are
microphone. Use your microphone.
Yes, Sifuna has a party.
What is the name of the party?
Well, Kaleba Mrs. Party Sifuna. I'm being serious right now, Jagero.
For me,
I'm being serious right now. And the name reservation is
you have a different opinion.
Yes.
Okay, but let him finish.
And the name reservation is mentioning is that Linda Mwananchi wants to become a coalition. So that name reservation is towards that coalition party. Not his main party.
So he's still going for the party that
if he does not get the coalition party registered, he sticks
who is
with
the current party leader of Renaissance? I think
Kaleba Misi is an acting party leader, an interim. He's not confirmed.
What do you mean he's not confirmed?
He is an interim party leader, just like Gachagua with DCP. They're acting party leaders.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, because there's not been an election.
Yes. So Sifuna could be confirmed and coronated as the actual party leader of Renaissance.
But we also know that Kaleba Misi has not been in the camp lately. He's been roaming around.
Do you know what the problem is?
Okay.
Right now.
What is the problem?
Kaleba Misi is disagreeing with political scavengers and vultures who've joined Linda Mwananchi later.
Who are these?
Like Boni Alwale, for example.
Boni Alwale is a scavenger.
They have joined Linda Mwananchi later.
Okay.
And the rest of them all who are not pro Sifuna.
Okay.
These guys were not for Sifuna. These guys jumped on Sifuna because he's trending, because he has a political wave. That's exactly the problem that Kaleba Misi has with these newcomers. They want to dictate everything. But when Kaleba Misi and Sifuna and some other people are not mentioned sat down and agreed in 2024 to come up with a Renaissance movement, these other guys were absent from the picture.
You agree that Kaleba Misi is the one who has registered the party. He's the one who has been, even during the launch, they were not there. And so he has been building this. So he's just going to hand it over to them.
Do you know that those engagement talks for that party were conceived with Caleb Amisi and Sifuna on the table? It's not like Sifuna was absent from the picture all along. And by the way,
but Caleb Amisi himself sat
I am telling you insider information that I shouldn't be telling you. And I'm also telling you that Caleb Amisi did not register that party. Someone else registered that party. And he took it over later, because if he had attempted to register that party, that registration would not have been successful. The same way Mike Sonko did not register NEDP. Ezron Obaga did, and Mike Sonko bought him off later on. That's exactly the insider information I'm giving you right now. That Sifuna and Amisi were in this from the beginning. Caleb Amisi's problem is...
But now that scavengers have hopped into the camp, what is Caleb Amisi going to do?
So exactly what he's saying. He's saying, if you hang around Sifuna's court, please do not endorse someone else. Usikuwa kwa mkutano ya Sifuna, uko kwa rally ya Sifuna, na kesho ukiwa peke yako unasema Ruto for president. Kesho ukiwa peke yako unasema Kalonzo for president. Kesho ukienda huko coast unasema huku tumesema ni 2 term. So what essentially are you doing in our rallies? What benefit are you bringing to the Linda Mwananchi camp? It appears you've come to clout chase. Wewe umekuja hapa juu ya wave.
So they are not together so Caleb Amisi is not relinquishing the party because of the scavengers.
No, that process is still ongoing. Wanangoja the definitive moment ya ku-announce Sifuna. That will happen. I'm promising you that will happen. But the problem Amisi has with other...
Are you in Linda Mwananchi?
No, I have people who are in Linda Mwananchi who have this insider information.
Okay.
And the problem Amisi has with these leaders, before you come in, the problem Amisi has with these leaders is...
No, Meshach, I was the last.
Yes, I just need 30 seconds.
Okay.
The problem Caleb Amisi has with these newcomers is you guys cannot come here, ride on the wave of Sifuna and Linda Mwananchi, but you endorse someone else as president mukienda huko. Sisi hapa kama Linda Mwananchi tunajua ni Sifuna. Usikuja hapa kama Linda Mwananchi kwa rally yetu kesho useme ni Kalonzo. Baki huko na Kalonzo wako. Sijui kama wanielewa. And the other problem he has is people taking Sifuna for granted. And because I will not want to be tribal, but I will say it as it is. Luhyas have suffered enough in this country, and they've been taken for granted for far too long, even by their Luo brothers. And that thing is in the heart of Caleb Amisi. And he's saying Luhyas must count for something.
Okay.
And that's why he appears to be protecting Sifuna.
Jagero.
I asked him and then I played a video.
Yeah.
Let me go.
So, Meshach, mine is bubbling, but continue, no problem.
Do you want to give your apologies?
No.
This is what I would want to say, Jagero.
Okay.
I think I watched the funeral of Mrs. Alwale's in Malinya.
Yeah.
One, I actually think Alwale is just telling the audience what he thinks the audience wants to hear, because right now stating anything against William Ruto is heroic, and then stating even what has happened and it is good is betrayal, according to some people. Even the online viewers, everybody thinks you are foolish because you're not saying what they want to hear. And whenever you say anything they want to hear, then you are the smartest guy in the room, and some of us don't really care. Because I know who I am, and I'm not looking for endorsement from anybody else out there. I think Alwale is lying. This is the reason why I would say Alwale is lying. The president has a whole team who organizes his diary, who organizes his travels. These are government officials, including security. There is no way the president will call you to ask you to send coordinates. It is not possible.
He already knows the coordinates.
He knows, I mean, the team are there, the pilots, everybody knows. All they need to be told, where is the president going today? And then they are off. So Alwale telling the mourners, the president asked me the coordinates, I refused to send, I say don't come. Those are neither here nor there. If anybody think I should endorse that so that I am smart, I am not, I want to remain dumb. Number two, Sifuna is also telling the the supporters what the supporters want to hear. One, in this room, some of us know the process of registering a political party. It takes long. We are now on a countdown. It is not possible to register now. So probably he has identified an existing political party where they are organizing and agreeing to go and run with. And he said himself, the end of his speech said, he quoted that a rose flower will come in any other color, but it is still smelling like a rose, meaning they can actually pick any other existing political party and brand it well to resonate with the people according to them. So basically what he is telling people, because I also don't think, however much some people think we are dumb because we're not telling them what they want to hear, but I also think even in that dumbness, I am not dumb enough to imagine that Sifuna can go to a place like that and tell people, I don't have a political party. Would you, even if it were you? Because the question has been, his opponents and people out there are like, do they even have a party, these people, and all that? That has been a big conversation out here. So how, I wonder how the so-called smartest people out there claim that they don't understand. Sifuna would not go there and tell them, I don't have a party. Even if I was Sifuna, I would still go there and tell them, guys, relax. I am in control of this thing. I have the party. Everything is ready. And there is no day again anybody who is running for presidency will tell you, I don't think I will be president. Even when they know they will not be president, they will not be elected. They will tell you every day until the day election has been announced. Even after announcement, they can still tell you, I think I won. They just didn't give me. So we expect some things to be said, but that does not necessarily mean that is what they are. Even if Sifuna didn't have a party now, which I think he doesn't, he's still in negotiation.
Nduga is saying he doesn't.
He's still negotiating with political parties that are there. And probably he has maybe a choice 2 or 3, and that is why it is difficult to say now, this is the party. Maybe he's still negotiating with that, this and this.
What is the negotiation about?
About him, no, it is simply about him joining as the party leader and running for presidency through that party.
But also buying it.
Because, no, wait, let me just finish.
Yes.
Because you saw when Matiang'i, for example, came back from the US, there is a party that claimed their presidential candidate is Matiang'i. And Jubilee was also here waiting for Matiang'i to do what? To join. So probably right now, because of that kind of wave Sifuna has had in the past few months, there is a political party or two that are reaching out actually and saying, could you do us the honor and run on our party as the presidential
Why would I, as somebody who has a party, ask Sifuna to run on your
Because he has some wave that your party doesn't have.
Yeah,
so him coming to run.
What do I get as a party?
You get
a
lot. Parties which have got representation in parliament have got political party funding, and they're also having nomination slots to parliament and nomination tickets for that party. If Sifuna has that wave, will be a cash cow because you will be there to
so
receive.
So, on of the party, I might say that one of the things that I'm putting on the table is that I'm going to have a nomination as a senator.
It's a business. Yes. It's a huge one. It's a huge one. So that's basically what I think is going on. But now, because you are still negotiating with Caleb Amisi's party and another party here, even Karoli, I think, has a party. Because even long before Baba died, Karoli had said he is not going to run on ODM. He's not going to seek re-election on ODM. He has an alternative. So I think those parties are still being, and I actually heard for the first time today when Malala was saying Halwale as a party. Yeah. I didn't know Halwale as a party, but I've heard.
Halwale wanted to give his party.
No, Malala asked Halwale to give his party to Sifuna to run.
Halwale's party is UPM.
Yeah,
so, I was there, I know.
So in short, I'm just saying there are many political parties who probably have reached out to Sifuna and they are negotiating which one is giving him a better deal. And now, for that reason, he can't say which one is the party. So he keeps it behind and keep telling the supporters, where you sit, you actually think Sifuna don't have a party to give you the excitement you want. But to be honest, today, no.
Let me, in finishing, let us go to the gentleman over there.
Okay, what seems to be a political preparation is just an ideal political positioning. One thing we need to have in mind is that democracy is a threat to society that do not think. Just a simple analogy. I'm struggling to understand when Mulema says that he is in opposition. So which opposition is he in? Is he in the opposition that is led by Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Justin Muturi? Or he is in the opposition that is led by Sifuna?
He did not say he's in opposition.
He said he's in opposition. I am in opposition.
Jagero, he's saying, he's declaring. Are in opposition. You know, actually, for you to have relevance in Kenya today, you must be a one-term battalion. That's now when everybody will want to listen. You are the sweetheart of everyone.
Now he's forcing me to be under the rules of Gachagua.
Is he in the opposition? He is not. Is he in the opposition that's led by Rigathi, Kalonzo, or he is in the opposition that is led by Sifuna? Again,
by Gen
see, no. They are the most frustrated and the confused people that you have in Kenya today. Okay,
who is frustrated?
Because the Gen Zs at first they are the ones. They are the. Excuse me.
Are you a Gen Z?
You see, Jagero, when I was Jagero, when everybody is giving their point, the rest are listening. So I'm suggesting and I'm requesting, please listen.
Okay.
If you have something to say, you have a book, please note it down. The same Gen Zs
are
you know, the same Gen Zs that he's talking about are the Gen Zs who came out and said that we are tribeless, we are leaderless. See what he uttered. We as Mulembe Nation, we have historical injustices. We are people, you see. So what I'm saying is the opposition that people are saying are opposition that are fragmented. These are people who are just seeking political relevance. Number two, to answer your question about the Luhya Nation. You know, the broad-based government the other day, they had their parliamentary meeting whereby they were now discussing about how they can move forward come 2027 as well as the coalition agreement. One thing we need to have in mind is that we are in an electioneering period. And being in an electioneering period, what the president wants to hear and the government is who controls that region, who forms the political network, who can mobilize quite a good number. The Luhya Nation is divided into two. There is one segment that is led by Moses Wetangula and Mudavadi. And there is one segment that is led by George Natembeya. Leave alone the Sifuna, these other political actors that are looking for relevance. There is one that is led by George Natembeya.
So there is George Natembeya and then there is Mudavadi and Wetangula together.
Exactly. No, not together.
Sifuna is nowhere to be seen.
Sifuna is just looking for political relevance, to be sincere.
What does that mean?
Okay, I think it will. I will need more time to explain for you that.
Okay.
But allow us to stick.
Then forget it.
Thank you for that. Okay, so for the Mudavadi's followers, they don't have the numbers to be real. But for George Natembeya, they have the number. So I think it's just a political strategy that they are deploying so that they can sit and have access to power come 2027. Remember, ODM is seeking deputy presidential seat. And there is a lot of seats that they are demanding. Also, the Luhya Nation, they are saying, we have been in power for long. Let us also have some relevance. Let us also have some proximity to power.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Nyanduga, in finishing, please, I'll give you 3 minutes.
It's okay. And before I make my final remarks, let me respond.
Yes, then I'll go back to you to give your final remarks because we are finishing just about
You have said something about broad-based government parliamentary meeting they just had, I think, last week. And I want to tell you that there is nothing significant that is going to come out of that broad-based government now that they're banking, in fact, on ODM support. ODM has been fragmented into several sections and factions. I was here 2 weeks ago, Jagero, when I told you, today the people from Coast are not in ODM because they love ODM. They're in ODM because of Ali Hassan Joe and other leaders from the coastal regions who are still inside the government. The same to Western Kenya, just like any other part of the country. But now, when you say about ODM factored, broad-based and everything, in fact, ODM will barely even win 20 parliamentary seats come 2027, ODM will barely win.
How many seats are you giving
20
them?
parliamentary seats. And for sure, I want to tell you, 85% of parliamentary seats in Nairobi and the ones for county assembly, in other words, 85% of the current ODM seats in Nairobi, they might lose it in 2027. 85%. Because when you have a look at this, the kind of fragmentation that is happening in all these political parties has not hit any political party harder than ODM. ODM has been hit like a thunderbolt by this kind of fragmentation than any other political party. And you talked about Gen Z factor collapsing. I think I'll respond like this. Whoever left you in darkness should not in any way ask what happened to you while you are still in darkness. If you left us in the struggle and then you are coming to report back that Gen Z has collapsed, say you have collapsed with the few Gen Zs who have also maybe they made a decision to collapse. But for someone like me, I'm not tribal because you used the same indoctrination while describing Mulamba. When you said he has just stated that we from Mulembe nation, right? So if it is Mulamba or any other factor, because he has just said that you said. So if you collapsed or maybe a few Gen Zs collapsed, it is just a fizzled fire. Majority of young people in this country are awakened. Majority of these young people you see, it is just
Mr.
a matter of
Mohammed,
time.
are you listening?
It's going to come like a time bomb.
I'm listening,
to prove you.
but the reality. But the reality. Okay, just a small picture. A small picture.
You made your last remarks.
Jagero, be easy on government apologists.
No,
be easy on government.
I don't actually discriminate.
Yes, by the way,
I don't discriminate.
But just a small image, okay? Just my brother, a small image.
Okay, then
it will back. Okay, okay, it will back your point. Okay, you have said that whoever left us in darkness, right?
Yes.
Tell me the people who are leading on the Gen Z protest, the most influencers, where are they now?
Wonderful.
It's just there is answering question and there's responding to a question.
True.
Where are they now?
They are fragmented, of course.
You see, that's why I asked. There is
cannot
answering question and there is responding.
No,
they are in power, right?
Not all of them.
You see, Jagero, the other day when the president was launching on a national conversation, Kenya Beyond 2030, it was shocking for me to see some Gen Zs were given an opportunity to speak in front of the nation and in front of the government. Let me finish. And it was shocking to see that they cannot address the actual issues that they have. But come on media, that is now when they know. On Jagero's podium, that's now when I can speak about the issues that is affecting on the Gen Z. So one thing we need to agree, okay, that we don't have Gen Zs, and if they exist by name. But those people are fragmented. You can even use Moses Kuria's interview as a source of reference.
Let me finish because we were on Gen Z.
Let him finish. Finish. You have got 1 minute.
Hey, Jagero,
you already 2 minutes.
So yeah, 2 minutes. So I have 2 minutes now. I finish. Jagero, he has said a very good thing.
We have to finish.
There is no problem with some Gen Zs.
I'll give you only 3 minutes.
Joining President William Ruto to launch Beyond 2060. It is their political right.
Okay.
But I cannot say, just like he was asking me, where are they now? There is no central point where the people who are leading Gen Zs are right now. And because you have said Gen Z has collapsed, in 1962 in South Africa, you'll remember, the Shelville massacre and everything that pertained. Then people said the black consciousness, the revolution has died. Then came 1976. More than 14 years from 1962, we saw the same revolution. Then again, it died again. So that is just to tell you, it is coming like a time bomb. This is something that is building up. When we took it to the streets in 2024, many things happened, yes. And in fact, it came back to us and showed us the real way and those who are true with the liberation and cause and those who are fake. Moving towards 2027, I'll say yes, some of the Gen Z, I cannot deny that. They're going back to their tribal roots, me not being one of them. But even if we have very few focused, intelligent young people who are direct to the cause, then I'll tell you, should something happen like this, because they said it after 2024, when they killed Albert Ojwang, again you saw the Gen Z uprising. So it is just a matter of time that the government messes up with these young people for you to see that it is true that the spirit we had was just a fizzled fire, but a silent strategy.
All right, thank you very much. Let me go to Mr. Mulama. Mulama, I'll give you 3 minutes.
Add just that to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We are tuna time tafadhali.
Just so because I have a few minutes, I will not get to defending Gen Zs today, but you people should know that we are here.
I will actually bring you to the political break, where I'm just you and me, one-on-one. It's a recorded show where you'll defend the Gen Z. How does that sound?
Nah, that sounds incredible.
Yes, I will.
Amazing. And can we sneak in Alionya?
No, Alionya will not come. It is me and you.
That's
and
quite unfortunate.
You'll have all the time to talk to ask Alionya to come.
And I hope we can call and ask questions as well as audience.
See, Jagger, what I have not understood with this Alionya thing, when Alionya irritated you, were you in that show?
Yes, and I was not given time.
And was it personal or issue based?
Where?
So that's the show.
On the political town hall.
On the political town hall.
So you wait for another town hall, Alionya will come.
I mean, Jagero is here and is the convener. What is your problem?
Then that cannot be part
the
of this show.
Is here.
He's chipping on your time.
Yes, and the convener is here. He can always
convene.
It's employed by the government. There's a town hall coming.
It's employed by the government.
See, the two-term guys are very cheeky. They don't know you can invite. They don't know you can invite William Ruto and myself to debate him. They don't know that. If William Ruto would agree to debate me anyway.
Okay.
As for Boni Alwale, I see an opportunist, a self-serving politician, and a man whose politics is on the horizon and is in his sunset days. Just like Ndindi Nyoro, he's trying to save face. Senator Boni Alwale vied for the gubernatorial position in 2017 and lost to Wycliffe Oparanya. In 2022, he vied on a Ford Kenya ticket for the senator position. No, I'm getting that wrong.
UDA.
In 2017, he vied on a Ford Kenya ticket and lost to Wycliffe Oparanya, who was vying on ODM. In 2022, when UDA had swept Western Kenya and when Wetangula and Mudavadi had joined William Ruto, conveniently, Boni Alwale now joins UDA and decides to vie for the senator position. So it was not supporting Ruto or UDA out of principle. They have never had a convergence of minds. He was just trying to secure a position. And this is the self-serving, self-preservation tactics we see in most of our politicians. Before I come back to Ndindi Nyoro, to Boni Alwale, I need to remind you of Ndindi Nyoro. He is attributing and espousing the same characteristics. Ndindi Nyoro campaigned for William Ruto for 4 years. He was flying on choppers with him. He was on tours in Masai Mara with him. He was his bosom buddy. He campaigned for him and fundraised for William Ruto for 4 years. Not out of principle, not out of ideology, just because he realized that there was a very strong wave in Central for the UDA party and for William Ruto. And for him to get re-elected in Kiaru, he needed William Ruto. And that's how he found himself in the inner circles of William Ruto. At one point, he was being considered for the running mate position. And he was eventually not picked because he did not have deep pockets in 2022. And Gachagua outshined him in that. I think that's part of where their beef goes as far back to. And Ndindi Nyoro was picked as the chairman for the Public Accounts Committee as a token of appreciation for campaigning for William Ruto. So when he appears now to pretend that he differed with William Ruto just because Gachagua was impeached, and the same guy voted yes for the finance bill, you realize this is just political survival. It is the same forests, the same monkeys, and the forest appears to be the same. Nothing is changing apparently, in fact. And now he unveils the People's Party of Kenya. And you think that's a neutral political party. But he's been party leader since 2018. Ndindi Nyoro is not a new face in the People's Party of Kenya. He has had that party for 4 years. He's just been waiting for the best opportunity to jump ship. And that's exactly the self-preservation I see in Boni Alwale. So when you see Boni Alwale, when you see Ndindi Nyoro unveiling that other party in Muranga, do not be mistaken for political soberness. Do not mistake him for a neutral politician or a genius who's discovered Kenya is on the wrong path. He cannot realize that Kenya is in the wrong path in 2025, 2024, when he has known William Ruto for his character as far back as 2013. So this politics of convenience is what we need to distance ourselves from as the young people of Kenya. And that's why I'm saying we would rather not be anywhere. We would rather just be us. Not one term, not two term, just us. Ruto must go, proudly Gen Z. Rather than jump and swing into political outfits that are filled with vultures and scavengers who conveniently shift political parties and allegiances for elections. Not because they have anything they believe in. Boni Alwale belongs to the crop of those leaders, the likes of Aisha Juma, who stand for nothing, who have no ideology, whose manifestos mean nothing. They just want to get elected. And that is where we should draw the line. Because we've been dissuaded and we've been misguided by these charlatans for a very long time. And we've always fell knee deep into their traps, not once, not twice. You see the same scavengers now running to Linda Mwananchi. I would not be surprised if people like Ferdinand Waititu decided to join Linda Mwananchi. I would not be surprised if Joe decided to join Linda Mwananchi. I won't be surprised if all these guys we've been trying to distance and disassociate ourselves with now join Linda Mwananchi just because it has a winning wave. Not out of conviction, not out of ideology. And that is the politics we are trying to cure as a generation. We said we as a generation are tired of recycling politicians. We said we are draining the swamp. We said we need better. We said we need different. That different will not come with Kalonzo Musyoka. That better will not come with Aisha Jumwa. That better will not come with Rigathi Gachagua. And that's why I have a problem with Linda Mwananchi and Sifuna appearing to court Rigathi Gachagua and appearing to entertain him just because they need to do rallies in the Mount Kenya region. Just because they feel Gachagua is controlling Mount Kenya and they need his votes. I mean, that is the narrative we are trying to challenge. So how is Gachagua better than William Ruto? And if Sifuna has to do a handshake with Gachagua so as to win over William Ruto, what will we have changed, by the way, Jagero? We'll get into another 2027 with the same politicians who are just the same as William Ruto. They just wear a different face. Imagine if Gachagua was a prime minister in your government or a deputy president in your government. Would you have peace? Would you know peace? If he was a CS for interior, or if he was calling shots and he was pushing for a shareholding in government, as Sifuna, would you have any say in that government? Exactly the recycling that we are now against. And we are saying, you guys should go at it alone. You would rather lose honorably that unite with the same people we are saying we do not need, because you will be inheriting their baggage, their wrong political education, and we will be inheriting the wrong direction for ourselves and for those that will come after us. How then will I convince Generation Alphas that you guys can be different? You guys should be different, when we as Gen Zs failed to demonstrate that difference, that soberness, and that commitment to ideology and to principle.
All right, thank you very much, people of the internet. There's been an amazing conversation. I want to thank Mr. Meshak Udede for coming. I want to thank Mr. Nyanduga Moses for coming. I want to thank Mr. Mohammed for coming. I want to thank Mr. Mulamba for coming. Always a pleasure having you guys. I want to thank Mr. John Tess, who's been on the cameras, and I want to thank Mr. Frank, who has been on the deck, and the people of the internet, the people that are always with us, the people that are, coming around and joining this bonfire so that we can speak about the politics of our country. Until another episode, bye for now. All right, people of the internet, I hope that you're enjoying this episode very much. And I just had a break to tell you about my new book. Everybody says that there is no job, and that is true. Also, that was me 10 years ago. The problem is that everybody is trying to get a job in their town, in their city, in their marketplace. They ask friends for jobs, mothers call uncles, uncles call brothers, but there are no jobs. Let me tell you what no one is telling you. Jobs migrated online. What I actually mean is there are many, many jobs around the world, and there is no one to do them except you. I work for Americans myself. I work for Europeans. I work for the Chinese. I work for the Australians. I work for the Canadians. And so, because I have done so much for myself, I said to myself, you know what? I should compile what I've been doing for the last 15 years. So in 2024, I wrote a digital book called
Goldmine, 18 Hustles for Africans. And then in 2025, AI came. People say AI is taking away our jobs. And for me, I'm going to say false. There are actually AI jobs. Jobs are not being taken by AI, but there are new jobs online that are there because of AI. Now, mimi ni nani? I created more jobs. And for now, in my new book, we have 25 online and offline jobs that you can leverage on if you do not have a job. So in this powerful volume 2, I share 25 new actionable online hustles specifically researched and tailored for Africans. My new book provides clear step-by-step guidance drawing from my extensive experience and research, including the mistakes I've made and lessons I've learned over the 15 years that I have worked online. So what can you do online? You can become an executive assistant for busy folks in Europe, America, Canada, and get paid for tasks like watching videos and taking online surveys. Okay? You can build a lot of things, build a business as a virtual assistant, start an e-commerce shop without capital, be an affiliate marketer, or you can also become actually an English tutor and tens of AI jobs. If you have a job, that is fine. But I also know that you can buy this book for that brother, for that sister, for that mother, for that cousin, for that husband who is watching Netflix all day at home. Buy it for your friend who is always asking for cash. You know that friend. Now, all the information is on the description below. You can also inbox me, you can WhatsApp me, or go to my website, which is odworjigero.co.ke.